I'm originally from Zimbabwe, and I came to the UK 5 years ago, and I've been working in Birmingham, and I live in Birmingham. And when I came here, I was not registered as a clinical scientist because the system in Zimbabwe is a bit different. So I had to go through the route 2, which is another method of registration. So I had to use the experience from which I got from Zimbabwe and a bit of experience that I got from my current job. I got my registration in 2017, and I've been working as a clinical scientist. My role is quite varied. I work in different departments. For example, I work in X-ray quality assurance, where I play a pivotal role to make sure that the equipment is working safely on patients, so as to limit the doses that they get during their treatment and diagnostics. So one of the most important things is we do annual test on equipment, and when the equipment is introduced into service, we also do what we call commissioning testing. And there is also critical examination, which is quite important because it will make sure that the equipment is safe for the patient, at the same time it's safe for the people who are using it. One of the things that I do on a day-to-day basis is to check the doses. We do patient audits on the doses just so as to make sure that the patients are not being overexposed to radiation. I also play an important role in terms of supporting the approved dosimetry service. The approved dosimetry service is a service that provides devices or dosimeters that monitor workers who work in areas where there is radiation. So I provide scientific support for that service. I also provide scientific support for the instrument calibration service. These are instruments that are used in hospitals to monitor the radiation levels. For example, in nuclear medicine, there are instruments which they use to check for contamination. So my role is to make sure that the way these instruments are calibrated is the best way to do it. And lastly, but not least, I'm also involved in the training of other clinical scientists and clinical technologists and other health professionals. It's quite a good job, to be honest with you, because it has got a good blend of science, technology. At the same time, you are working with different people and you are helping the patient, although my role is sort of indirect help. But at the same time, I feel like I'm contributing to the treatment of the patient. And again, it has got unlimited opportunities for research. So it's quite something that I always wanted from a young age. So for me, it has been an opportunity to do the work that I always wanted to do because of the limited service that we're now providing to our customers. I got an opportunity to finish some of the write-ups that I was doing for publication. I had work that I had collected data for, but I could not get the opportunity to write that into a publication. So it gave me that opportunity to focus on those things. And again, because of this, the time that I got, because of the limited service, I could do development work, like to plan for the future and just to reflect on other things related to my life itself. So it was quite a time to recharge and to look at my profession and to see how I can change the way that I do things. At the same time, I was looking at improving the way we do things on a day-to-day basis. So it was quite a challenging time at the same time, but I got an opportunity to do other stuff. this needs to happen because an opportunity to work on other kind of work is something that is important in this field, like publishing papers is quite an important aspect of any scientist. So getting time, although the time that I got was through this situation, but getting the time was sort of an added advantage to my profession. It gave me an opportunity to do stuff that I always wanted to do. Yeah, it has been a bit challenging because at the start of the whole thing, I I started to work from home, and at the same time, I've got a 6-year-old son. And at that point, at the start of this whole thing, there was he was not going to school, so I had to do a bit of homeschooling. So I had to balance my normal work, and at the same time, I needed to do homeschooling for my son. So I had to do most of the work when he's sleeping. But as time moved on, I managed to adapt to the change, and my son started to realize that I needed to do this work. So it became a bit simple, and now I've sort of adjusted to this way of doing life, of this way of doing work at the same time. And again, the wide use of technology was key during this period. There was this wide use of video conferencing, and this is something that was never used in my practice. So we could do meetings with other teams, we could do online training, which was quite good, which is something that I find as a positive of all this. Yeah. Probably there will be a bit of changes because of the way that we are working, because like working from home, it has been proven that is also effective and is something that is good for the environment. There's less traveling, and you sort of save time by not going to work and coming back home. So that time is, you can concentrate on doing other stuff. And at the same time, as I have mentioned before, the use of video conferencing is a good thing because it will save us from going for meetings far away. We can actually get a bigger audience from it, which is quite good. Yeah, for me, it was quite good to see science and technology being used to help the public, because if you look at how this crisis developed, technology was science was the leading thing, was a leader in all the decisions that were made, even the statistics that were given daily by the prime minister and all the ministers. You could see that it was science behind it. So for me, it was an encouragement because I saw that being a scientist is something that can change the way people live. And at the same time, it's something that is going to encourage young people out there to do science, because you can actually see that science is being used for tracking, it's being used to find a vaccine, and it's also being used to analyze the data that is being collected, which is something that is great. And this is what we do day to day. I'm a Christian. I'm someone who believes in God, and I like singing, and I've written a number of songs.